Rec- So, morning, everybody. Welcome to ACT. Today, something I've been learning over the last week that's helped me out a lot is Chat GPT prompting. If you don't know more about prompt engineering, there's a lot of resources out there to just help you kind of refine the results you're getting. That's been really helpful for me with marketing plans and whatnot. And then Sean's like I said, he's a senior big dog. He's an awesome closer. He's helped me out. So if you get somebody on the line and you need a hot transfer to a closer, he's awesome. He'll walk you through this whole sales funnel, and you just push pause and or mute, and you can listen to the whole thing. It's really great. Um, he's helped me because I'm used to the very calm mobile home park close process that can take up to a year of just hanging out with grandpa and his weird family. And then you get the distressed seller on the line, and it's like, oh shit, and Sean's like, you gotta calm down and get organized. And so it helped me do that. But Sean, if you want to take it away, man, just we got some new big dogs here and maybe some other people joining us. So
Sure, sure.
we'll open it up at the end, everybody. You can ask Sean questions after 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, yeah. So I can kind of like tell a little bit about my story, what I do, and then let you guys answer or ask some questions, and hopefully I can answer them to the best of my ability. But I joined Big Dog in February of 2022. So I'm a little over 3 years now. But the first year I didn't really do anything with it. So I've really only been working about like coming out on 2 years. I started like in June of 2023. So that's like 2 years now of doing it basically full time the entire time. And what I do specifically, like Chad said, is I go in there and I close our deals. So in the wholesale business, there's really, if you're talking about a wholesale business specifically, there's really two sides of the business. There's acquisition and there's disposition. So I work specifically on the acquisition side, and I'm direct to the seller. So I'm building that relationship with our seller that can then make us, the most money possible. So I do a lot of like maintaining that relationship, touch points. So I'm constantly talking to sellers. And most months I end up buying like 2 to 3 properties a month. And most of the time those assignment fees are in the neighborhood of 20 to $30,000 in total, which means I'm bringing home probably on one deal, probably usually about 12 and a half grand, and I'm doing three of those a month. So that's kind of what I do. Um, so this month, for instance, I've already closed one this month. I have another one scheduled to close this month, and I have three scheduled to close next month. So I already have those in the pipeline. The biggest part of my business is constantly building the pipeline, and constantly doing the marketing. Like Phil says, he says like 95% of what you do should be marketing. The other 5% should be operations. Your operation should be very down pat. I have a very specific like formula, like get deal goes here. And I don't try to do disposition, for instance. Some people are full wholesale shops where they'll do the acquisition and the disposition side. I'm not that person personally. I just do the acquisition side. Um, the way the business is structured, the way the business model is typically you will get around 70% of the deal profit on the acquisition side, and then the disposition agency will get about 30%. And if you think about it logically, that makes sense because my job is much harder. Just objectively, the dispo team will tell you the same thing most of the time. If I'm able to get us a good deal, the deal sells itself. So the dispo agency's job is really easy. Um, so I might get a deal, let's say at 200, that's worth 300. And I know if that deal's in Dallas, I should be able to sell that deal at 80%, assuming there's limited repairs. So I know that deal should sell for around 240. If we're lucky, I can even get it even more than that. This month I have a condo in Uptown that I have for 300 and is worth 400 and needs no repairs. Um, and that one we ended up selling for 333.5. So if you do the math, it's more than 80% that we're selling that for, which is definitely possible. We're selling it for like 82, 83%. So you got to know the market too. You got to know little pockets. You got to know, like I know Dallas is going to sell higher than San Antonio, for instance. So I know I can offer more, so I can be more competitive in that capacity. So that's a little bit about like the operation side of like my business and what I do, and y'all are welcome to ask questions about the end because I can probably answer them. And then on how I get these leads specifically for me, um, there's a few common ways to market to these leads, or at least there's the most common ways, and I can go over that. Um, the three most common ways that I see to marketing to these leads is door knocking, texting, and calling. For me specifically, I just call. And then I have a bunch of partners I work with where I can close their deals. And then I give them a 50-50 profit split on whatever we're making. Um, how we get I can give you the blueprint on how we kind of do it on the back end if you've never done it before. So to get these leads, I specifically operate with the foreclosure leads. They're the hottest leads, easiest deals. It's the lowest hanging fruit. You can also do the probates. You can also do the airship. You can also do the divorce. Those ones are also good, but the pre-foreclosure is the best because they're about to lose their house. They have no choices. And you can come in there and kind of guide them through a process they should be attentive to. Um, the hottest week of the month is not this week, but the next week, because next week the foreclosure auction in the state of Texas is on the first Tuesday of the month. So the week before that, once you hit Thursday, Friday, almost every single month I'm making $20,000, $30,000 on that one week. If I just worked that one week, I would have a living, a good living. Um, so on those ones, on that week, that's prime time for me. I don't really schedule time to go out. I don't really schedule time to do anything. That's the week I lock in and really focus. I do work the other weeks of the month. I don't just sit around and do nothing. But that's the week where if I just work that week, I'd probably make a couple hundred grand a year. Because the auction's on the first Tuesday. Um, so how we get those leads, though, for the foreclosure specifically, I'll talk about that. But it applies to all of them. On a very technical level, everything gets filed with county records, so you can find it on the county clerk. So if you wanted to, you could just go on, for instance, you could search up Tarrant County Clerk foreclosure auction. They have a website, it's called Zendesk. You'll see the list of all of it. Tarrant County has Zendesk. They're all different, but you'll see a list of everyone that's in foreclosure. You could then, if you wanted to, take it over and skip trace it on like Fast People Search or something like that. And then you could call it on your phone individually. That's how I started doing this. And I was like, this is awful. The way the professionals do it is we go and we buy a list. So one of the list providers will compile that list and cut out that clerical work for you, which if you're doing a volume of deals, it's worth it. I pay 3,500 bucks a year for my list, so I really just have to do a quarter of one deal on average to pay off my list. Um, and then so we get that list. My list provider specifically, if you want to write it down, it's called Real Estate IQ. There are other list providers. To be honest with you, I've only ever used Real Estate IQ, and I don't remember doing market research because it was like a year and a half ago. But I'm sure you could look it up and find one if you want to use a different list provider. That's the one I use. Real Estate IQ will provide you foreclosures, airship, divorce, probates, tax liens, code violations. It'll provide you a number of different lists that you can use um, if you feel so inclined. Um, so you get that list, and then you choose whatever your marketing method is. If you're going to door knock, right, and you live in Behar County, you're going to go through the list, and it gives you the list is an Excel file, so it's super easy if you're going to door knock. You would just one of your filters would be Behar County, and then you'd go filter out for Behar County, and you'd find everything in Behar County. And then you can pop that into a route optimizer. I don't door knock, so I used to. I don't remember what the route optimizers are, but they use them a lot for like shipping and stuff like that. So like Amazon drivers use them. So you could do maybe a little research about that and probably figure it out. I used to use one when I did door knock. I just don't do it anymore.
Sean, we
Uh,
use straight away. That one's awesome.
straight away, that
Yeah.
is the one I used. Yes. So yeah, you do that. Now you have the list. If you're texting or you're calling, you will have a piece of software. I'll go over I'll go over a few of the pieces of software if you want to write it down too. So for texting, a very popular one is called Launch Control. If you're separating it out, launch control is a big one on the texting side. It's pretty expensive. I personally don't love the texting. I used it for a few months and then I dropped it. On the calling side, for me, I use what's called smartphone, and that's SMRTPHONE.io. So that's what I'm using right now. I'm probably going to be switching. You can use more like full scale products like um, I'm probably going to be switching to Go High Level because Go High Level is a full CRM with texting and calling. And all that means is it's easier to track the leads. That's all it means in layman's terms. Um, so you would get your list though, and you would pop it into whatever you're popping it into. For me currently, I currently use smartphone. So I would put it in smartphone and I would parse the list and then I can start calling. And if you've never used a dialer before, which a lot of people haven't, I can rip through thousands of leads in a day. The reason I get so many deals is because I call way more people than you would think anyone would reasonably call. I'm usually calling 2,000 to 2,500 people a day. And if I really want it, I can probably call 3,000, 3,500 if I really wanted to. But I usually do 2,000 to 2,500 people a day. And that's the reason I get that volume. Um, so yeah, I mean that's the general process of kind of how you would get started. And then it's just a matter of understanding and overcoming the objections. So how I started this business is I did lead gen for someone else, another big dog that was closing deals. And that's the easiest way to start. For me personally, I get 50-50 profit splits. I know a lot of people that do the same, and all that would mean is any lead that you bring me, you automatically get 50% of whatever I earn, and I will work my ass off to go earn our money. So that's kind of how I operate in my business. It's a lot of calling, it's a lot of marketing, it's a lot of lead gen, it's a lot of work, but you can do some really cool stuff financially. I'm really young, obviously, and I live in a nice house and I'm actually paying it off, which is like paying it off pretty fast, which is cool. Most people my age don't have a house as nice as mine or a house at all, and very few of them are even paying it off at all. So, for what it's worth, you can accomplish some incredible things. Um, and it can be fun sometimes. Sometimes it's not fun. It's fun when you close. It's fun when you close, I'll say that. So, yeah. I'll let the floor be open for you guys if you have any questions, if I need to get into anything specific. But that's at a high level what my job is and what I do, and maybe how I can help you. And if I can't help you in my realm, you're welcome to hit me up. Um, and I can probably forward you to someone that's a little more aligned with whatever you're doing. Because I'm pretty connected in real estate.
Not using for driving for dollars.
Sorry.
We're off here.
Sorry.
Josie asked, what's the straightaway app? It's for
Oh.
door knocking. It will optimize your entire route.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the
yeah.
straightaway app you'll put all your addresses in and there'll be like a optimized button and then it'll create the best route based on where you're starting.
And you just take a picture of an Excel spreadsheet and it loads it all. It's really cool.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. You don't even have to put it in. Yeah, that's true.
Sean, can you also put whatever contact you want in here? And do you want to talk about if anybody calls you? Your
Oh, yeah. The different phone numbers that
Yeah,
you want.
Yeah.
so you
want
don't
them to-
totally
So I have a personal
screw it
line.
up like I did.
Yeah, so I have a personal line and then I have my like lead line. So I only talk to my leads on my lead line. Y'all can bang me on my personal line. It's no big deal. I would actually prefer if you banged it on my personal line because like whenever I see the lead line, I'm like, oh, that's the lead. So I separate my lead from my personal life. So you're welcome to hit me on either one of them. And if you hit me on either one of them, I will answer. Chad can attest to it. I'm very responsive. That's my job is to be responsive. So I'm responsive to everything that I do, whether it's personal work or whatever, because that's how I make money is on my phone. So I always see everything. So.
Also putting in all Sean wants when you call him. He needs the
Yeah.
cell name, the address, and the foreclosure date, right?
Yeah, if y'all are dealing with foreclosures. If not foreclosure, just tell me the lead type because the conversation will be different Like if I go in there thinking it's a foreclosure lead and it's a probate lead, it's very awkward when I ask them, when's your foreclosure date? It gets really awkward.
Yes, I did
They're
this
like,
too.
I'm not
I'll
in
test.
foreclosure. Yeah, they're like, I'm not in foreclosure. What are you talking about?
But you pulled it off brilliantly. It was better than I would have done.
Yeah.
Sometimes they go hand in hand though. We've had a lot of that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had the organizational issue of going from the VA list to us to Sean and trying to make it smooth.
hmm
So I'm not seeing his contact information in the chat. Did that come just to you,
Oh.
Chad?
Oh no, I did a direct message. My
Yeah.
bad. My bad.
No problem.
Then I have a question, Sean. Great to meet you. At what point, like how many touches do we need to have with a potential before contacting you to close it?
Literally, you get to a stopping point where you don't know the answer to the question. You just go, hey, like that's a really good question because they asked you something. Hey, that's a really good question. My partner's better equipped to answer that than me. Do you mind if I ring him on the phone real quick? And you just assume I'm available. Even if you don't text me and I don't have your number, I will still pick up an unknown number and you just say, hey, like I have a lead right here, and I'll be like, great, and then I'll get it after the call, so I have your number saved. So yeah, I pick up like everything on my phone, so just always assume I'm available. Chad can probably attest to it. Like
Totally.
the only time I would not be available is if I'm talking to another lead. And I at least will text you, hey, I'm on the other line. What's up? Like, what do you need? You know?
Yeah, when we met Sean, he was in a group of people that were closers from Grant actually, and he's like, "Let me tell you why I'm the only guy you're ever going to need here. I answer every time," and he does. He's very responsive.
Yeah. I don't say anything I can't commit to. I can't commit to answering.
And just
Yeah,
to
that's all I've done
clarify,
is you just stutter along to get him to pause long enough and hook Sean up, and then it just takes it home for you. And then you're like, "Oh, I see this," and you hear it a few times, and you're like, "Oh, I can do this too."
Yeah, yeah. You should be able to learn how to do it like through what I'm doing too. Like it should be very informative. Most people like they learn over time. You should be able to overcome more objections yourself because you'll hear me do it.
The other
That's-
cool thing is if you can connect it with Smart Dialer, you get it recorded.
Yeah,
And that's really nice.
I was literally just thinking that, yeah, because I know there are plenty of times where I've gone back over and re-listened to the calls, especially, when Grant or Sean has been on the line, and it just helps you learn a little bit better.
It's a little tricky sometimes though, trying to get all your systems to work. Sometimes you just gotta call.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta call, do notes. And then if you call me afterwards, as long as I don't have another lead, which is sometimes and sometimes not, I'll give you like a 5-minute recap of what we did. If you're calling me about a bad lead, I'll just usually be like, that was a bad lead. And but I guess that's part of the education too, is you got to identify which one's good and which one's bad. So
yeah, so just to
That's actually my
clarify,
question. What is a bad lead? What does a bad lead look like?
so a bad lead would like entail like there's no avenue for profitability in this deal or an avenue for minimum profitability and too much work. So there's not enough ROI on it. So like for me, like a bad lead would be a short sale because they never go through and they take multiple months. I refer it, I'll do that, but I've never gotten a short sale to go through. And in my mind, they never work. So, and even if they do work, it's a percentage of a realtor commission. I would rather just do a direct realtor referral if I'm going to do that personally. So yeah, those ones are usually in my mind, they're bad. You could ask someone different, but I'd rather go get the wholesale fees and not worry about like I'm not gonna follow up with my short sale leads. Like they're either gonna like listen to me or they're not because I'm not making money off of them. So yeah, there's
For
that,
sure.
or just there's if they have high equity or like they have low equity, um, and a high interest rate, which would also be kind of close to a short sale. So that
Yes.
that's the main thing. Like anything else, you can kind of try. You can try to make something out of something. If they have at least 20% equity, they can do something, usually something. So if they've bought the home in 2022 or later, almost always it's a bad deal, just for perspective.
Yes,
Yes.
for sure. I've learned that. I'm gonna need to talk with you a little bit more because I think I'm in like neck deep with a short sale, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Happy to help.
Don Bowie does a lot of mortgages if you ever need private or money for mortgages, not private
Okay.
money, hedge fund stuff.
Okay, right on. I work with a lot of the hedge funds too because
What was the name? Sorry.
to them. Sorry,
What was the name?
Bowie. He's in the call.
Yeah, Bowie.
Bowie.
And yeah, I've been a private money lender broker for more than 3 years. So I can get you in for
Okay.
any kind of investment loan, not just fix and flip.
Can I have your contact, Bowie?
I'm about to put it in the chat right now.
And
Perfect.
Angela, I
Thank
think he's in the group text we're on now too. So you might
Is
have
he?
it in there.
Okay. I've been seeing some numbers pop up, but I don't know exactly who they belong to. So
I'm putting it
It's
in.
all going on a YouTube channel too, by the way, if anybody wants to see the recording.
Copy that.
Is that okay, Sean?
Yeah, no, that's cool.
All right, cool.
So I have a couple of questions if it's a good time to ask.
Sure.
The first one is, so I'm assuming that location doesn't matter. We're in the Austin area. I know several of you are in the Dallas area, and Angela, I guess you're in Houston as well.
Yes.
So location doesn't matter?
Location definitely matters. There's certain rules for certain locations. So like I know I can sell my deals for the highest amount in Dallas. So I don't really need to be offering 70% in Dallas. Like the 70% rule is like a general guide, but it's a market by market thing. Like whenever I get a deal in Dallas, like it just sells for way higher than you would probably think on the wholesale market. It's almost to the point in Dallas, not even almost. There's literally, in my opinion, there's no point in flipping a Dallas property because you can wholesale it and take the entire meat off the bone. Like the one I just gave, the example I just gave, we sold that $400,000 condo that needs pretty much no repairs to be like transparent. We sold it for 333.5. So there's literally no profit in that deal if we were to flip it at the number that we're selling it at because we have loan origination points, we have the soft costs, any like minor repair costs that would come up, and we have the closing costs on the front end and the back end. So like we might as well just assign it because it's way less work, you know. I wholesaled one up in Allen like a few months ago, and it was like a sub two on a $400,000 house or something like that that needed a bit of work, and they paid a $65,000 entry, like which for perspective is ridiculous. On sub two wholesales, usually you're looking at like maybe a 10 to like 12 or 13% interest entry. But like on my Dallas based sub twos, it's like I'm expecting 15 to 20%, and I'm expecting someone to buy it at 80 to 85%. Houston, you can probably buy wholesale stuff off at like I have one right now in Houston, and we'll see how it goes, but I would anticipate we'd probably be able to wholesale at about 77 and a half. San Antonio is the softest market. It's actually kind of hard in San Antonio to even sometimes hit the 70% rule. And then Austin for me has a lot of variability. I'd still I would not be the person to talk to about the Austin wholesale market because I don't wholesale there much, to be honest with you. I've only wholesaled a couple deals out there, and from what I remember, a couple of them were like unexpected in terms of we got more than I thought or we got less than I thought. Most of my wholesales happen in Dallas and Houston. I wholesale probably 2/3 of my deals in Houston and then a third of my deals in Dallas, and then I mix in the occasional San Antonio and Houston. Um, I don't know why it works out that way, but you know,
Would be a good contact here locally. I know Phil and Shanoa are right here, but they're time limited, I'd imagine. So is Grant here?
for what specifically?
Um, the areas I'm interested in are wholesaling and probate potentially. So, or foreclosure and probate.
In
Probate.
Austin.
Yeah,
Josie's in
Austin.
Austin.
Okay. So are
North
you
of-
looking, are you looking like, are you asking about the acquisition side or are you asking about like the disposition side? Because we were kind of talking about the disposition side with the last question.
I would think acquisition side.
Okay. Yeah, so if you're doing the acquisition side, like that's kind of like on you. That's what I was kind of discussing about what like my role is. Like, and that would be the blueprint of like how you would do it with like whatever your marketing method is. You would choose them. if you're specific to wanting to do it in Austin, there's this one source, it's called Niche, Niche. They do specific counties and stuff. So you could specifically do like Travis, or I forget even the counties over there. I know Travis is a big one, but whatever counties you want to do, they'll do a list of 5 and they'll charge you, I think it's $250 a month, and they get you the list faster than almost anyone out there. Which speed is nice. If you're able to put someone under contract before they start talking to anyone else, it's like kind of nice. So,
No, we partnered with Niche. We
oh
got
really?
a partner for life, so that's where we're offering $100 a county for big dog pricing. If anybody wants that, it's like they search like 5+ different sources. So as soon as anything hits anywhere, they got it.
Yeah, I used Niche for a few months. It was pretty good. I liked it. But I didn't like having to carry the cost of 2 lists, and I do fine on my own list. I was like, I'm getting enough deals. Like I was like, I'm okay. I don't need this list. So, but it was a good list when I used it. It's like very concentrated, very small, very specific. So if you're looking specific, that's the list.
And that's neat. Neat's like NICHE.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think it's called Niche Leads, Chad. Is that right? Or is it something?
Niche data. Let me see. I can find.
Because we have all the information too.
It's nichedata.ai.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, they're awesome. They basically beat me to the punch of exactly what I was trying to build out, so I just permanently stuck myself to them. But they're building out every land parcel in the United States, the landowner behind it, including through the LLCs right now. They got
Yeah.
foreclosure done, and then probate's coming, or it might be here already, with all kinds of bots and AI, like really cool stuff coming.
Yeah. And so like they would be like your sniper rifle versus like Real Estate IQ would be like your shotgun that sprays everywhere. So like I use the shotgun and Chad uses the sniper rifle. It's not to say one's better than the other, it's just a different type of tool.
Does Niche support probate leads?
I
If
think
they
they
don't have them now, they're on the way
Oh.
within weeks. I think they just came out with them.
Okay.
I think they do. From what I remember, I don't know. I call the foreclosures way more than the probates. So I get tempted by the people losing their home.
But I was saying that earlier too. We got the tool Sean was using, so we use Niche to upload all our lists. It hits smartphone, and as soon as it connects, it goes into our Podio system, gets a drip campaign.
Awesome. You know, how much is it per month, or do you know? Is it different for different types of leads, or how's it priced?
Sure, the pricing, we did the permanent legacy partnership, so I paid $10,000. I'm not sure to individual pricing. You'd have
Yeah,
to sign.
I'm sure it'll be on the website.
Honestly, I don't remember the pricing either. Like the reason I dropped the product was not because it wasn't a good product. It was just because I didn't have time to use it.
Yeah.
Because I did like I used the shotgun, like I said. That's what I do, and that takes a lot of time because I'm calling 2,500 people a day. So
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I'm
Yeah, we have
looking at the
60-day
website
uploading.
now. They have a monthly plan of $500, and then they have an annual plan of $5,000.
There you go.
okay.
Who's that?
Niche, she just looked it up. Thanks, Angela.
Thank
No
you.
problem. You're welcome.
Or you can talk to Chad and get it for 100.
Yeah, I'll do $100
Yeah.
county. Big dog.
But I guess you wouldn't be able to choose your county because
Yeah, you
you
can.
oh
Yeah.
you can?
Yeah, any county in the United States.
Okay. Yours gets any county?
Yep.
Any can.
Okay. When I had it, it only got me 5 counties. Chad's ahead of the game.
Well, we paid 10
I
grand.
Yeah.
Well, once I
And I
saw the
thought yours
system, I'm like, go ahead.
Texas specific. No, I was just gonna say, I thought yours was Texas specific. I didn't know it was any county.
Anywhere in the US you want.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, our 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock for you guys is up. I enjoy these meetings. I want to keep them going. Thanks, Sean. I really appreciate it.
Mhm.
All his contact should be in here. Same with Bowie's. And then next week we can meet and talk about our homework and accountability. But everybody kick ass this week and have a great week. Thanks, Sean. I really
Good.
appreciate you.
Go make
Absolutely.
some money.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right,
Thanks,
guys.
Have a great week. I mean.
Make
too.
lots of money. All right. See you guys next week.
Cool. See you.